not just a problem we live here in the West. So what to look for in a woman? Is it just her beauty? And the answer is no. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, in fact, says, he teaches us a formula, a recipe. He says, and if anybody is interested in this dua or the slide, I can give it to you later. It says, if a man wants to get married, let him pray 2 units prayer, 2 rak'ah, salat. And then after the salat, let him thank Allah. And then recite this dua, this prayer, Allahumma, oh my Lord, I want to get married, so find me of a woman with the following characteristics. 1, the best manners, a lady who's got good manners. You know, looks are great, that's fine, but they're not the only thing. What does she look on the inside? What's her beauty on the inside? So I don't want just to have her facial beauty. What's the inside like? So I want someone with good manners. What else? A lady who will be an individual who's going to be faithful. Faithful. And that is actually a problem we have in this society. Faithfulness. You know, unfortunately, this society, I don't know if you guys, I don't really watch a lot of the movies that come out, or even some of the episodes, like the recent dramas that come out. But unfortunately, some of our youth, they're glued to these channels. Like, what's that show called? Someone told... What is it?
The Turkish one.
What?
The Turkish episode.
Okay, Turkish. So I didn't even know that. Okay, thanks. Turkish episodes. So I guess these Turkish serials. No, though, there's someone came to me. Shore? Something Shore? Jersey Shore, thank you.
We don't watch it.
Okay. You know, someone came to me and told me we have an issue here. A lot of our youth are watching the Jersey Shores. Now, of course, if I ask people now, nobody's going to say, yes, I do watch it. So anyways, people are watching these. We cannot just turn a blind eye. Some of our youth are watching. They're watching these Jersey Shores. I know it's very, very aching and paining to hear people are doing this. So even kids cannot stand it. So our youth are watching this, and some of the movies that are coming out as well. If you take a look at their theme, it's so painful that, like I said, even children cannot stand it. The theme there, or sometimes when you take a look at it, they make it sound so normal that a man can go and sleep with another woman, or a woman goes and sleeps with another man, and then they come back together happily ever after. And it's something that's normal. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And they tell, we have to keep our marriage alive, so we have to forgive each other and just move on. Now the problem, when people, you see, the problem is when you start seeing movies that tell you this is fine, this is fine, this is fine, or you start watching serials or dramas that tell you this is an acceptable thing, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. Now after a period of time, then the individual subconsciously will start getting sucked into this. That, this is fine, there is nothing wrong with it. Just like this movie stars are doing it, or this movie is doing it, I can do it as well. And that's unfortunately what is happening in the world today in North America. There's a lot of what they call unfaithfulness in marriages are happening. So that's why Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, the fifth Imam, says, look for a person who is, 1, has good manners, 2, she'll be faithful to you. Now I was watching some research the other day, a little while back, and they said that, I can't remember the exact numbers, but they compared Australia, US, and I believe the UK. And they found that again, don't quote me on the numbers here, but we can do the statistical research there. They found this, that on average, by the time the man or the woman gets married, they have been with about 9 partners. 9 partners by the time they get married. Okay, so they've seen 9 other individuals, and then they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to settle with this individual. This creates a lot of problems, as one can imagine. Okay, I can't get into many details here because I see there have some underage youth. So, but nonetheless, this does cause a lot of problems. Okay, if this is about marriage, I don't know why we have underage people, but nonetheless. The next point is, the third point is the person who will be most protective of my wealth. She will not just take the credit card and go shopping, you know. Then don't respect my financial situation. An individual who respects my financial situation. If I can afford $100, she'll spend $100. If I can afford 1,000, she'll spend 1,000. That's fine. There's nothing wrong. In fact, the ahadith tell us, the traditions tell us, that try to spend and make your family live a life that you can afford. So don't tell your family, for example, I lived, you know, of $100 for a few years, so I'm sure you can also live of $100 for the rest of your life, when he can afford, let's say, $1,000. That's not the way. Whatever you can afford, whatever is feasible for you. You can afford 1,000, live $1,000 lifestyle. You can afford 100, live $100 lifestyle. So there's an alarm here. So that's the thing there as well. So that is the third characteristic. An individual who first of all has good manners. Second, she'll be faithful. Third, she'll be understanding of my financial situation and respectable of it. And here is something that is interesting, is a person who will bring me some sustenance. Sustenance, like I said, this is the blessings of marriage. When two people get married, then their lives will be blessed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will bless their lives and things will progress. And then He will also ask for children that will be pious, good children. So if she is a good mother, she'll be able to raise some good children. They went one time to a king who just became a king after the death of his father. And the people went to him to congratulate him on becoming the new king. And then they told him, we have a request. They said, what's your request? They said, we want you to work on building us a pretty good society. A society with mature individuals who are hardworking. The king said, I'll do that if you can guarantee me mothers that are mature and hardworking. I'll give you then a society that is mature and hardworking. It's a simple formula. So these are the qualities and the characteristics. Like I said, if you're interested in this slide, I can give it to you later. And then the Holy Prophet also says, think about, basically he didn't use this word, but he is referring to it, the genetics. Today, we know genetics play a big role in the children. Genetics have a big impact. We have several factors on the upbringing of children. Genetics is one of them. Environment is another one. So the genetics of it. He says, try to find some lady with good genes, because the children will grow up to resemble the genes of the family of the woman. We find this happening. The same thing happened when Imam Ali alayhi salam wanted to get married. He turned to his brother Aqil, who knew of the nations and the tribes of Arabia. He told him, find me a woman who is honorable, yet I want her to come from a brave tribe. A tribe known for their bravery. Then Aqil said, well, if that's what you're looking for, then Fatima bint Hizam, this lady Fatima, she's the best. She's your choice. And he married her, and indeed she gave birth to Al-Abbas, Abu Fadl Al-Abbas, and his siblings. So Imam Ali alayhi salam wanted a lady who was not only honorable, that's the first question, the first criteria, but also brave. And bravery was a key factor because Imam Ali had another son by the name of Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah. Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, just some historical background for you guys. Do you know who Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah was? Muhammad, he was a brother of Imam Hassan and Hussein, but from another mother. And he was the one who was actually carrying the banner of Imam Ali on the Battle of Siffin. You know, when Imam Ali fought against Muawiyah and Abi Sufyan, the one who carried the banner of Imam Ali was Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah. At one point in the battle, now the Battle of Siffin was a very intense battle. It took a few months. It was very, very severe. So one day in the battle, Imam Ali told Muhammad, he said, go, jump into the battlefield. Jump into it. So Muhammad wants to get in, but he finds it's really intense there. So he hesitates. He then tells him a second time, Muhammad, go. He goes, but then again, it was so severe. And remember, fighting then is not like the easy shot from gun, for example. That's relatively easy. I wouldn't say easy, but relatively easy these days. There, it means you had to have a sword and jump into the battlefield. It was not easy. So he tried to get in. Again, he hesitated. Imam Ali looked at him and told him, إِنَّ فِيكَ عِرْقٌ مِّنْ أُمِّكَ. You have a gene of your mother, not from me. I don't hesitate in battles. So that hesitation did not come from me. It came from your mom's side. So nonetheless, genetics do play a big role. And that's why the Holy Prophet says, think about what qualities you want your children to have. And that's something I tell some of the brothers. When they approach me, they say, we found this girl, for example, whatever, is she good? Is she bad? I tell them, first of all, you got to work out what things work out with your parents. Don't try to go against the wish of your parents. And the second thing is, think about the future. Think about the future. Don't think about now. Right now, yes, you two are in love, and you think of basically a Cinderella lifestyle where you live happily ever after, and they never show you Cinderella after she's had several children, what life is going to be like. Then really we'll see what the Cinderella life would be like then. But that's the idea they have in their minds. But that's not real life. Think about children. Some people come to me and say, for example, why can't we marry somebody who's not a Muslim? Okay, well, first of all, some of our fuqaha don't allow this. But nonetheless, even for those who do allow it, no problem. I tell them, well, think about what will happen 20 years down the road. When you have children who grown up, okay, they will be Muslims, okay, but they'll have a mother, for example, who's not a Muslim. She's not someone who's a Muslim. And then, what will happen at that stage? We've had a case, again, this is something that I've witnessed myself, of a man who married a non-Muslim lady, and then, 20 years later, his daughter came in one day and she told her dad that, Dad, I would like to get married to some man who was not a Muslim as well. Now, he told her, it's not allowed. The mother then stepped in. She said, well, you married me, I'm not a Muslim. So why can't she marry somebody who's not a Muslim? So here, 20 years later, we have a conflict in the family. And the lady went ahead and married this non-Muslim man. So think 20 years down the road. Now, I'm not saying every incident would be like this. Okay, so don't take me wrong, please. But what I'm trying to say is think of such potentials. They might happen. What would you do? Okay? So keep these possibilities in mind. That's why the hadith here, when they tell us, think of what you want for your children, they're trying to tell us that think down the term. Just think, think long term, not short term. Okay, what not to look for in women? The Prophet basically says, don't look for beauty only. Don't look for beauty only. Be careful from women who may appear so beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, they're terrible. So don't be fooled by her beauty. Okay? So that's another thing. Okay, for the sake of time, we'll just move on. So now we have the next part of this talk, which is after a man chooses the right wife, and the wife chooses the right husband, so they get married. Now what? Okay, and this is where we have sometimes issues in marriages. It's to understand that in marriage, there is no such thing as my way or the highway. That doesn't happen in marriage. In marriage, there is always a compromise. So one person has to respect the other. one person has to compromise